Normally it's a cover two segment. Two segments covering Aggie football with former A&M and NFL cover man Jordan Pugh. We're going to drop into a cover four today.
Let's do it, man.
In studio. Let's get Jordan's mic on. That'll be a start. There you go. Oh,
We're good. We're good.
Oh, it's your fault, aren't it? You got a mute button down there. Didn't know it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't think. Cav, Nutzi, and Ron back there, they're like ice, man. They're cool as ice, no mistakes. It had to be your fault.
They keep it going, man.
How are you doing, Jordan?
I'm doing good, man.
Good.
Doing good. Got a lot of stuff going on over here.
Yep.
Got a little docuseries coming out.
Really?
On January 4th, man.
Okay.
So I'm working on that. So,
What's it about?
Be on YouTube. It's a story of pushing up or going higher.
Shocker.
Pushing up or going higher, man. It's like basically rebranding.
Yeah.
So when rebranding, I want people to use it as a lifestyle, as a statement. So that's what we're doing.
Cool.
We're working on that. Man, training guys now. So got a little training thing that I'm starting up. Of course, the broadcasting, the speaking. You know how that goes. I spoke at the church again this past week.
Good.
Then I'm coaching my wife's football team, man.
I heard she can
Me
go.
and Melvin Bullitt. Two Aggies,
How's
baby.
Melvin doing?
Melvin's good, man. He's doing good.
Good.
So me and Melvin doing that, so I got that going. You know how that's good. Hey, free trips.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Paid for. Get to little coach a little ball, and my wife's doing it.
Free trips.
Free
This
trips.
isn't like a DFW little
Oh,
Pee-wee
no,
league.
it's national. They
This
go to
is a pro league?
Chicago, Seattle,
What?
Austin, Atlanta. I'm telling you, man. They travel, yeah. So doing
you
a
make
little
some
bit
money
of that.
doing this?
A little something.
A little side money.
Little something.
She's still coaching?
Yeah, she's still coaching. Yep.
Good.
In the middle of basketball season right now.
Excellent.
I think they're 2-2.
Yeah.
2-2 right
Well,
now. Yep.
Merry Christmas, and this is your first Christmas as a married man.
Yes, it is, man.
Does that change things in terms of travel and what you do on Christmas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where is her family?
Oh, we're all in DFW.
Okay, well, that makes it
So,
easier.
half the day there, half the day with mine.
Yep. Even split?
You know how it goes, man. That's just more food and more take home and leftovers for me.
Even
man.
split, but I'll tell you, if she's ready to not go even on that deal, do it.
Hey, let's go.
Do whatever it takes to make her happy.
Who you telling, man?
I'll just
I'm
tell
learning
you.
every single day.
Absolutely.
She's
All
probably
right.
listening right now, man.
We've got a lot of questions for you, and a
Let's do
lot
it.
of questions, text questions, a lot of stuff to get into, and we want to invite you, our listeners, to text you and text
Let's
us.
do
So
it.
our text line again, the
anything.
Commerce National Bank text line is wide open at 229-1939. 229-1939. If you want to text a question into Jordan, we also have the phone line wide open as well at 693-1150. You want to call, have your voice heard, be a part of the program, call us up. 693-1150. We're also monitoring the Twitter as well at TexAgs Radio. So simple question. You came on Friday, a quick day after reaction to the news that Kyle Allen was leaving. 5 days later, what are your big picture overall thoughts on where Texas A&M is right now as a program and specifically as it pertains to this offense?
Wow, that's a good question. Okay. Overall thoughts. Program. I think we're good defensively.
Yeah.
I think we're good defensively. When you look at everything we have on defense, you got Miles, you got the young guys, Dalen Mack, Justin Neves, Amani White. You can go down the list and name them. I think defensively we're good.
Even the linebackers, there's some reason to have some sense
Richard
of
Moore
excitement.
told you that was my guy. That was my guy. So you got Moore, you got those guys. Defensively, I think we're solid. I think we're building something that's strong. I think you have the right guy in place.
It feels like there's a solid foundation.
Exactly.
That house is built on bedrock.
Exactly.
All right.
And when you look at the D linemen, I mean, you're solid across the board, too deep. Our weakness is the linebacker. Secondary is strong. So I think that there's a lot to build off of when you look at this season. Special teams, I think we're solid. I think we have playmakers on special teams. I think that was one of the biggest highlights of the season that a lot of people overlook is the special teams aspect. The touchdowns we scored, the way we forced turnovers, different things like that.
Obviously, the punter,
right?
He's .01, 1/100th of average away from being the career all-time NCAA punt leader, all-time.
Really?
Career record breaker, yeah. If he punts a 55-yarder and he punts one time, he'll break the record, all-time punt leader. And then, of course, Bertolet's a second-team All-SEC.
I'll tell you this. That's a good thing.
That's a victory story right there for Bertolet.
That's a good thing for the punter.
Yep.
But it's a bad thing, too.
Well, he's punting a lot. But
to be a record holder, I don't know if I want to be a record holder.
Well, that means you're in your own territory a lot because it means he's punting long punts.
Exactly. So look at that. Offensively, all right.
Yeah. Therein lies the house of cards. That's not built on bedrock.
If I had to use one word to describe where we are as a program, I'd say confusion. We're in a state of confusion right now. And here's my question. How bad is it to where a quarterback wants to leave before the bowl game that he's the starter in?
Never seen that before.
I just got news that Kyler, I think he met with the coaches.
And Kevin.
Which I don't know. Oh, he met too?
Oh, yeah. Kevin Murray. Yeah.
So I don't know what that entails. I tell you what.
Do you blame Kevin Murray and Kyler for wanting to go in and know what is our situation moving forward? Let's have a talk.
Okay. I don't blame Allen at all. I don't blame him at all. Allen was the same guy who went in and beat the number 3 team in the nation, Auburn, his freshman year. He's the same guy who goes into the bowl game, is the bowl game MVP. He's the same guy who was the only quarterback on the roster, well, really, the only true quarterback on the roster during the spring. Then he was the same guy who was there during the summer, and then
he led.
A true freshman comes in, and you tell him that he's competing for the starting job before he's proven anything. If I'm Allen, I have a problem with that. Not only do you win the job, then you win the job, and they tell you that they're rotating the quarterbacks.
Which I don't have a huge problem with. You want to make sure Kyler's ready.
Exactly. And then when you rotate him, he's still throwing for 300-plus yards, 2-3 touchdowns a game on the Man in the Wars watch list. Gets hurt. And, all that stuff happens. The buzz around Kyler comes in. And then you deal with that. You deal with the whole mess. And
he still came back and won the job again.
And that's where I'm like, for Allen, I can't blame him. There's no ill will. Go do your thing.
You can understand why Allen is frustrated.
Exactly. Okay. I get it.
What about Kyler?
Murray, here's the deal. All right, so I like the potential of Murray. I've been saying that he was never ready from the jump. He just, to come in as a true freshman, I don't care who you are. It's just difficult, especially a quarterback. Now, the upside is there, but as far as a transfer from Murray, the only question that I would have is, what did you do in order for you to prove that you can go somewhere else and be the guy? Like, you had a good game against South Carolina, which had a terrible defense. But as a whole, what did you do? Auburn played you, shut you down. Western Carolina shut you down. I mean, there's a lot to build off of. There's a lot to be excited about, and you got to love that. Like, if I look at an upside, his upside is out of this world. I'm like, you have to build an offense around this guy, and he's the guy who can get you wins, and he's a winner. He's used to winning. And so that's something that'll take over the whole locker room, because now that you got your guy, you got your guy. But
there won't be a split locker room anymore.
Exactly.
Because one of the guys that split the locker room is gone.
And so the only concern that I have with Murray is, will you be here in the spring? I know you got the baseball concerns here and there. So
I would be very surprised if that weren't brought up yesterday in the meeting.
Now, check this out. And here's a story that nobody's talking about, or at least I haven't heard it. Your boy Hubenak, if I'm Hubenak, I'm like, hey, man, I love what's going on right now. Nobody's really saying anything about me. Hubenak can play. I've seen it. He can play. And now Hubenak's like, well, if Murray does baseball, it's my team. I can go out there and you can have a possible quarterback situation, quarterback controversy, if you want to call it that. You can have that again if Hubenak goes out there and does his thing. So it's one of those deals where someone has to put the fire out. There's fires burning everywhere right now on that offensive side. You got to put the fire out. You got to do something, and
how does he do it? Because 2016, he's on the hot seat. He's got to win. He knows it. A&M has to turn the calendar over to November 1st, still in contention, with it not having flamed out and somewhere in mid-October like it did the previous 2 years. That cannot afford to be happening again a third year in a row. How does he put those flame out? How does he build stability on that side of the ball like there is now defensively? I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and let him go out and get the guy that can stabilize this offense and figure out this quarterback situation, because it's been nightmarish post-Manziel.
All right, so this is what I'll say. First things first is I put the offensive troubles on. I give Spavital 40, Sumlin 60%. The reason why he gets 60 is because he's a head coach.
Throwing that offensive line.
Yeah, because he's a head coach.
Okay.
So I give him that just because he's a head coach.
Yeah.
All right, so you have to address the offensive issue. You have to find, if it's a coordinator or if you keep Spavital, it's like, look here, this is what we are. So you have to address the coordinator first off. You have to find the identity. Once you know what your identity is, you know who your quarterback is. The biggest problem with this team this year offensively is they didn't have an identity. And then within that, you didn't define your identity, so you didn't define your quarterback. You have two different quarterbacks with two different styles, which you can substitute as identity. And so once you know your identity, if you want to be that spread, run and gun team, option read, Murray was your guy. If you want to be that pocket presence, let me beat you from the pocket, quick game, long drives, methodical marching down the field, Allen's your guy. So that's a head coach problem. That's an offensive coordinator problem because there's no identity.
I think the identity has just been – the decision's been made for them with Allen leaving.
Exactly.
Now you know who you are.
Exactly. So now if you go into this 2016 season, look, man, it's time to ball coach. Like, you have the facilities, you have the players, you have the talent, you have – you got guys coming in this recruiting class. It's like, look – let's go. Those guys who were freshmen are now juniors. You know what I mean? Those 5-star guys that you start getting in. It's time to start making moves for that SEC title. And so that's where the heat's coming. And so when you look at it as a whole, I think the identity needs to be there. You know what you're getting with Chavis. Chavis, we're going to be physical. We're going to go after you. We're aggressive. Sumlin, I don't know what we are. I just don't know what we are. And I don't think he knows what we are. And so there needs to be a refresh or reset, and that's what needs to be taken control of in offseason.
I've got questions. 5 big questions about the quarterbacks moving forward here. You ready for this?
Let's do it, man.
Number 1, is Kyler Murray ready to step in and lead A&M to a bowl win against Louisville? So let's start short term. Odds highly favor he's the bowl starter.
I wasn't ready for that question. I don't know why. That's an obvious question.
It's not as important of a question, but it is the short term. It's the next game.
Yes.
Nobody's talking about the next game.
I say yes.
Okay.
This is why, because they've had 4 weeks. Is it 4 weeks since the last game? So you had 4 weeks to prepare, really, with Allen announcing it last week. So you really say 3 true weeks of preparation to be the starter. I think that he'll be ready. And then I think it's another advantage, too. You have fresh legs. The team will be fresh. You'll see something new. And also, Louisville doesn't really have a lot of tape. They have tape because he played in a lot of games, but they really don't have a true season full of tape on him. So it's something that could be to the advantage. He can use his legs. Take these 3 weeks and develop a passing game around him, though. That's what we need. I told you at some point he has to beat you with his arm. So I think he can do it.
Honestly, I'm worried about this. I'm worried about it because Louisville, their strength is defensive. They're top 25 in total defense. They're top 25 in rush defense. A&M's had, you would think that they'd have the ability to open it up. That's going to be interesting. Trey Carson's 1,000-yard back, and now you got Kyler's legs. That'll be an interesting good on good. They're also top 25 against the pass, but they're also top 25 in forcing fumbles. He's mistake-prone and intercepting the ball. All right, so they turn the ball over a lot and create takeaways. That's what Kyler struggled with. He's a young player. Plus, they can go good on good and still give a look because they've got a dual-threat true freshman quarterback, Lorenzo Jackson, I think.
But I'll tell you this. Sumlin's undefeated in bowl games for a reason. All right, so you got these weeks to prepare. Yep. I understand the stats. I get that. But if they were, it's one thing to be that good. It's another thing to be in the Music City Bowl.
Yeah.
And let's just be honest. Mm-hmm. Let's just be honest. So when you look at it as a whole, they have a great true freshman. I like him a lot.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
But I don't think he's a Kyler Murray.
Right.
So when you look at that as a whole, there's such a dynamic. And what they haven't seen threats like we're going to present to them. They haven't seen 4 wides who can go like that. Yeah, you have a running back in Trey Carson. We've had our struggles there, but they can spread the field. You're looking at a rejuvenated defense who's going to get the ball back, too. We force turnovers, too.
Oh, yeah. I like that matchup because their offense is really struggling.
Exactly. Then special teams has been the key for us all year, and I'm going to keep saying that that's the thing that's going to turn it over. So when you look at it as a whole, I think this is a good place for Murray to be in because he has true preparation. It's almost like fall camp all over again. Mm-hmm. And now he's rolling into the first game. So I think it's something where he might be able to shine in this game.
Number 2, in the long run, are there elements of this that's actually positive that Allen and Murray are no longer on the same roster, especially in light of them being two polar opposite type of styles? It's splitting what your identity is because they are two totally different guys. So you kind of have to mesh something that works for both guys, or change what you do that works for both guys. That would create the split locker room type of situation as well. Now you won't have any of that. It should be pretty clear who your starter is moving forward because there's no Allen in the picture anymore. So are there some silver linings, so to speak?
Oh, yeah. In the long run, it's going to be beneficial because now you have to pick a guy. So I think, like you said, you look at the two contrasting styles, if one of them's out of the picture now. So now you have the guy to go with. So that's where in the long run I think is good. Now let's bring it back to the short term, though. Here's the problem. If Murray plays baseball and if Hubenak goes out there and lights it up, we have a whole problem all over again. Everybody keeps forgetting about Hubenak, and I'm telling you, if he gets his time, if he gets his time to shine, you're gonna see a quarterback who can play. He one of the top quarterbacks coming out of JUCO for no reason. So I think in the short term, if you don't establish who that starter is, if you don't tell your team this is the guy, and unless he does something that truly loses him the job, then you're going to have a whole nother problem if that backup, which is Hubenak right now, goes in and just kills it.
Question number 3, should A&M sign a grad transfer at quarterback, a guy that can graduate from his old school, come in and have immediate eligibility?
Now, that's a good question. Okay. I want to say yes because you're unsure with what Murray's going to do. I want to say yes. If you do sign him, Murray stays, you have a whole nother problem on your hands.
Same thing you just had, right? Because that grad transfer is signing here to come play right away.
This is what all the former players and this is what all the fans are so irritated about. This situation right here, because it's like you can't win for losing. So it's like, Murray, look, man, I know you want to play baseball. I get it. But please play football. But then it's like, look, Sumlin, I know that you may have to cover all your bases, but then yet are we going to have another QB controversy? So this one falls on Sumlin. If you do bring in a grad guy, name your starter, and that is who you ride with. And I think that alleviates a lot of problems.
It's crazy, isn't it? All right, question number 4. If they don't do the grad transfer thing and then usher in the Murray era, right? Then it's Murray's deal.
Okay.
Do you still have to fill Allen's roster spot at this point? They've got to find a way to sign another quarterback, not just going in with Murray, with him not being known what he's going to do, and then with Hubenak. Would you rather see him sign a current high school senior or find maybe a sweet spot in a JUCO guy that can give you a couple years as a bridge gap, would know his role would be to be a backup quarterback?
I would sign a JUCO guy because, you know, we got a quarterback coming in the, 2017 class.
Martell.
And you don't want to lose him.
That's right.
So this whole situation is putting someone in a bad position because he's having to make tough decisions. So, you know, I would do the JUCO route, or I would try and find a grad guy who you know is there for 1 year. That's what I would do. But more than likely, a guy who's coming for 1 year is not going to be the backup. Let's just be honest about the situation. So I'd have to do a JUCO guy, and you'd have to make it clear, like, look, man, here's the deal. Like, this is our guy, but we need this. And you have to be clear with it. So I think you have to go JUCO route.
It's tough.
Yeah.
You got a month and a half to figure all this out.
I don't know if I do a high school guy.
Yeah, a month and a half to figure it out. And if you want to sign a JUCO guy, you'd rather him be here in the spring to help go through everything. Exactly. Well, that means he needs to sign this week.
So I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's tough. The baseball elements, question number 5, we've kind of touched on that, but do you, on what, as a former player, how much do you kind of side on the Murray situation, because he really does have a future over there? So I wanted to ask you about you if you're Kevin Sumlin, but then you're a former player. So when you look at Kyler Murray, he's got a future in baseball. Do you want to sabotage that necessarily? How can Sumlin make it all work and still have Kyler Murray as a starting quarterback with spring and the schedule of spring football working around baseball? Would he be willing to do that for Kyler Murray?
Okay.
Should he be willing to do that for Kyler Murray?
All right, there's like 19 questions in that one question.
I know.
All right, so here's the first one. As a player, I'm speaking solely from the player perspective and solely from a guy who played in the professional sports league. When you have the opportunity to get paid for a game that you love to play, Don't pass that up. That's strictly the player talking. Like, don't you ever pass that up. And then when you look at baseball versus football, it's guaranteed money, and it's a whole lot more longevity than football is.
Yeah, but he'd have to play at A&M. Let's be clear.
Yeah,
he'd have to play his baseball at A&M.
Exactly.
He's got a real future over there.
I'm going long term.
Okay.
I'm just thinking long term, and that affects the decision that he has now. And that's what a lot of people are missing out on is, look, he could have got drafted out of high school. Mm-hmm. So this is one of those things where he's like, look, I could do this. You see what I mean? Now, Sumlin, we're going to see if he can work his magic, because this is a tricky one.
It's so hard.
Because do you let him do – let's be honest. He agreed to let him play baseball, but he also agreed to let him play baseball knowing that he had Kyle Allen on the roster. So now it's one of those things where – I hate to say this, but if you're Murray, you can be like, if you don't let me play, I can go somewhere else that'll let me do it. It's,
no doubt.
I hate saying that. I don't want to say that. But if you're just looking at it from the flip side, the flip point of view. But then at the same time, this is where, if I'm Sumlin, you have to make a stand somewhere. You have to be like, all right, Murray, here's the deal. Like, I have a team that I have to prepare. I have a team that I have to coach. I got to build. I need to know where you stand. But here's where I stand. And I think this is the point of Sumlin's, I don't want to say career, but career at A&M, time at A&M, where it's like, look, a stance has to be made now. I need you to be my guy. I need you to be all in with this, because if not, the door is open. It's open to Hubenak. It's open to whoever comes in. So this is one of those things where it's tricky. It's tricky because it's that fine line. You don't want to let another guy walk out of the door, but then at the same time, you have to make a decision for your football team. There's nobody you can throw. You can even say Manziel. There's nobody that's that good that's bigger than the team. That's bigger than the team, and that can alter the team. What you saw this year was a quarterback situation that altered the team. That wasn't the quarterback's fault. It was the coaching's fault. So that's where it's a fine line, but I think this is where Sumlin has to – at some point in time, you got to make a stand for your team, because now you have all those other guys relying on you to make a decision. So I think this is one of those crucial points in his A&M tenure.
And he knows he has 1 year with Murray, without Murray.
Yeah.
You get the sense that his future at A&M is sort of tied to Murray moving forward now. Mm-hmm. But with or without him, it's about winning football games.
Exactly.
And he does. He's got to make a stand because even Johnny Manziel, as you said, not bigger than the football team.
And you got to do it because you have guys relying on you. You got coaching staff relying on you. And so the turnover with coaches. So this is something where this is a pivotal point where it's like, look, man, you got to make a decision.
But we want to start this segment by going out to David on the Mac Resource Computers hotline. David, thanks for your patience. Good morning.
Good morning. My question is, we keep talking about, recruiting somebody else or bringing somebody new into the program. Why don't they turn and look at somebody like Deshaun Caver-Smith that was a good high school quarterback as their third string option?
Yeah, it's a very good question. He was the Kyler Murray of Louisiana, and he put up similar numbers. His numbers were astronomical, but they really do like him as a corner. And remember, you're replacing two starters next year.
Yeah, I get your question, but that's something that you can do. He's a corner. He's a true corner. And when you sit there and you watch film, you watch what he did, he was a dual-threat guy, but he's more of an athlete. Mm-hmm. When you see a guy like Murray, you look at the numbers, you compare the numbers, Murray was more of a true quarterback. And so, we're losing guys, in the secondary, the Brandon Williams, Devontae Harris's doing that. You got to have some guys who can come in and who can play. You got like Elam, I think he redshirted this year. You got Noah Ellis, I'm a fan of him, Donovan, those guys. But you got to have some guys on the corner who can play. Mm-hmm. I think, you got two quarterbacks right now. So to sit there and move them, that's a desperate move to get a quarterback in there. Now, you can make him an emergency guy. Yeah, somebody where, a third-team guy, something happens with Murray, something happens with Hubenak. All right, man, look, we need you to go in here and do this. But to be a full-time starter at quarterback, I wouldn't do that.
Jay Novacek was an emergency quarterback once. He never had to go in, but he was. He was a third-team quarterback a couple of occasions for the Dallas Cowboys back in the day. As an emergency situation, there were times where we thought Speedy Noyle, especially in 2013 when Kenny had to leave and it was Kyle Allen, and you're down to Kyle Allen, Connor McQueen, and probably Speedy or Ricky.
Right.
And I even asked Jake in a press conference, what happens if you had to use if you didn't have Kyle anymore? He goes, we'd probably play Speedy.
Yeah,
he said it in a press
a
conference.
whole lot of option, too. A whole lot of option. Wildcat quarterback,
well,
man.
at this point, I think the option would be Christian Kirk. Just run all kinds of Wildcats.
Yeah, that's true.
I think you can trust him with a football more than you can Speedy at this point.
Touch the ball every single play. That's something that you want.
Let's go to the Commerce National Bank text line and the Aggieland Outfitters Social Center. AggielandOutfitters.com and 3 locations here in town. And with that, we say hello again to Alex Parker. AP.
Hello, everybody. I have some questions for you, JP. First one is, do you think Coach Sumlin could lose his job over something like this? And do you think Hyman has any of the blame?
Ooh, Hyman. That's the first time I've heard that. I never thought about
Same.
that.
Does
it go above Sumlin to the AD, or is it a football problem?
It's a football problem. I don't think Hyman has a lot to do with this. When you look at what's going on this year, I think it's just a football problem. All right. So here's the problem. Here's the problem that people are having. What's his first year was 10-2. Then there's been a slow decline. And it's not that it's been a decline. It's the way that we've lost big games. We beat the teams who we're supposed to beat, but then we lose big games at home. Mm-hmm. We're great on the road, but why can't we win at home? I think the investment in the program and not getting the results that you want into the program, I think that's what's causing a lot of the uproar. So when you look at that, I think that's a lot of it. But then when you look at these past 2 seasons, Kenny Hill, top quarterback, Kyle Allen, a top quarterback. Kenny Hill leaves, Kyle Allen leaves, Murray's talking about leaving. Now people are like, hold on now, man. Something is going on to where you have these guys and you can't develop them. How do you have 3 5-star quarterbacks and none of them are panning out? But the jury's still out on Murray. I mean, he's a freshman. He's still here, so we can take him out of the equation. But
yeah, and to be clear, in Lucci's report, and he's the best reporter out there on A&M football, right? We know that. He said he does not anticipate a transfer. They're questions.
Right.
They're concerned over there.
But that's where, as a whole, that's where everybody is like, man, what's going on? What's the deal with the program? And so it's kind of at that point where I think the fan base is they're tired of us being average. And I think that's what's happening now. I think what's going on is like, look, we have all this. We got the best facilities in the country. We got, what's so-called the best coach in the country, the best type of swag in the country. I mean, you name it. It's like, why can't we win these big games? We had it one time in his first year. And so I think that's the uproar. And so when you look at it, I think that's why people are saying, look, he's on the hot seat now for next year. And let me take this, too. It's been, 4 years now that he's been here?
This will be year 5.
This will be year 5. Okay. Do you really want to go through a whole nother change?
You don't want to.
That's another thing. It's like, you have these coaches you got coaches who are winning, who are winners. They're getting fired. And new program changes, new shifts. He's bringing in recruits. At some point in time, it's going to have to click. And so do you want to change that? Then you take a risk of losing all your recruits and this and that. So it's one of those things where he has to perform. But as a whole, when you bring in the AD situation, do we need to go and transform the program all over again? So it's one of those deals, too.
You certainly would rather not.
Exactly.
Certainly would rather not, but he's about to go to potentially going to his 4th offensive coordinator in 5 years.
Yeah.
At this point, you've just changed out a defense that was so bad. Okay, well, you did that, and that worked. Now you're going to change another coordinator. This will be the 3rd demotion. McKinney, or second demotion. Because obviously Kingsbury left for a better job, for a head coaching job, so promotion. Mm-hmm. But McKinney, demotion. Spav, demotion. And this another one. It has to work. He knows it.
Yeah.
He knows it. In a perfect world, someone probably was hoping maybe Spav would get another opportunity so that he didn't have to say, I had to make a change. But if he does make a change, he knows it squarely on him. The whole world knows it squarely on him. 2016's big year.
Yes,
There's
it is.
no doubt.
Yes,
As obvious as it could possibly be moving forward. Let's go back to the Social Center. Alex Parker, AP.
All right. Xavier and Rowlett says, what do you think we need to hear from Coach Sumlin today at the presser?
He'll be talking for the first time, Jordan, since after the LSU game.
Ooh. Okay. First thing that I want to hear, who's the starting quarterback? I don't need a State of the Union address. I just need to know who the starting quarterback is.
For the ball game. That's all I can tell you right now.
That's all I care about right now. Right now, I don't care about anything in the offseason. It's irrelevant. I want to know who the starting quarterback is. And if it's Murray, is he staying? That's what I want to know. If I'm a fan, don't care about anything else. That's all I want to know. I want to know who's controlling the offense, period. Secondly, the second thing I'd want to know is what's the deal with the offensive coordinator. So it goes from quarterback to coordinator, because quarterback's the most important thing right now because you got a game to play. Quarterback to coordinator, that's all I want to know. And then what's the plan going into 2016? What's your recruiting plan? What's your plan for offense? What's your plan for defense? Who do you plan to, initially, where do you plan to put people? That's all I want to know. And that's giving a state of the program, but you're just going directly to the critical parts of the program.
I think he needs to be kind of real because the fans and his supporters are all listening.
Yeah.
Everybody's listening. Everybody's going to hang on every word he says. I think it's an important address, an important opportunity if he takes the most, if he takes it, if he makes the most of it. He's got a chance to make the most of it here. Now, it's all talk. It's all about the W's. But he hadn't talked. And so that allows rampant speculation. And it's gone, and it's taken on a life of its own. We've all been waiting on him to talk. It's an important opportunity for him. Before the break, let's do this in a minute. Dusty has a great question. Maybe text of the day nomination here. 229-1939. Does a possible new offensive coordinator ask this question? Hey, will I have my starting quarterback that I'm charged with developing during spring ball in spring ball? Will I have him? How committed will he be because of, as you said, baseball? A coordinator's going to have to go in here and say, okay, well,
that's a great question.
I'm going to come here, move my family, and I know that we have to win right away or we're all fired, right? Potentially. So he has to think about that before he moves his family. At the same time, our whole thing rests on Murray. Do I have Murray? Right? And will that limit the pool of outstanding candidates to leave their current job?
That's wow.
Text of the day. I don't care. That's the best text all day.
Wow,
we got 1 million of them.
That's a great. I mean,
it's Alex's priority, but she has a pick.
That's a wonderful question. Wow.
There's no answer. You can't give us an answer on that, but it's a.
I got something.
It's just one of those questions that has to be asked.
It goes back to someone. You have to make a stand for your program. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Because now it's bigger than just your quarterback. You're affecting the lives of the coaches, these players. Now you're talking about a potential coach coming in and saying, look, man, I'm moving my family for one season. Like, come on now. See, it's a thing that it brings everybody into it. So Sumlin, you're going to see how much magic he can work. Here's the deal, man. Are you with it or are you not? That's what I need to know. And so it's on him.
Tell you what, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because of the hire he made last year. Right. And this is going to be, it's an interesting offseason. A documentary can be done about this quarterback situation. Going all the way back post-Manziel. I mean, you could do 20 documentaries on Johnny, but you could do a darn near just as good a one on after Johnny.
Full-length movie on this, man.
It is interesting. As we conclude it, final thoughts, JP. What else is on your mind? What do you want to leave people with going into the Christmas week?
Wow.
About this team or otherwise?
Well, first off, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays. Let's get that out of the way first. Okay, so what do I want to leave about the team? You hear a lot of the stuff that's going on, but you have to be optimistic. Because at the end of the day, you have a defense who was vastly improved from last year. You have a special teams who's forcing turnovers, scoring points. You have an offense that will get their stuff together. It has to happen. So if I'm at a point now, you're upset about this season, but this season is over. Okay, they got the bowl game. The season's done. This is a point where you're looking at it. Things have to get done now. And so since things have to get done, one or two things happen. Either you win or you lose. And you're looking at what's going on, looking at how we're going, how we're trending upward. I look forward to what's happening with this team. We have quarterback situations going on, but as a whole, with the athletes, the receivers we got, the defense that we got, the playmakers that we have, man, you have to be excited about that. Yes, we had one guy leave, but look, we got a whole arsenal of people too. So don't forget that. Don't leave that out, and understand that there's a lot to look forward to. Yes, there's things to fix, just like with every program, and everybody is disappointed but one team at the end of the season anyway. So this is one of those things. Look forward to it. Get excited about it, but at the same time, understand there's some changes that have to happen.
Yep. Well said.
The biggest thing.
Well said, brother. And Merry Christmas to you.
Yep, same to you.
And Merry Christmas to your family, your wife. Enjoy Christmas with your wife as a married man. That's good stuff.
What I'm gonna do, man.
And I appreciate you being a part of this program since January? So we're almost a year in.
We are, aren't we?
Yeah, because you were part of signing day last year.
Wow. Yeah. Almost a year in, man.
Yeah, very
Gotta
nice.
love it.
I can't wait to keep it rolling.
Yeah, let's do it.
Really have enjoyed it, Jordan.
Let's do it.